Okay. Sweet. I'm just gonna go ahead with this because I've wasted enough of your time already loading this stupid ass mission.
Nope.
This will be a 6-phase course. It will. The last 6 phases will be the most. The last 3 phases will be most time consuming. The first 3 phases will depend on your actual real life knowledge and your actual armor knowledge. If this comes easy to you, then this will be a quick course. Okay. First off, recon can be organized into different kinds of units. We have light recon, we have light motorized recon, which we'll do in this course, and we have heavy recon. Light recon would be a 6-man team, like you guys, getting inserted either by a truck driving you to a drop-off point, where you will march to a point and do your recon. These are rare units. You're mostly used by the Marines because, and then they've been inserted by a helicopter and stuff like that. And the reason they're rarely used is because of their low mobility. They're dependent on other assets to move them around. So it's a slow way to do your recon. The good part about them is that they're sneaky. You won't spot them until they're in position. Okay. But secondly, we have motorized recon or light motorized recon, which is this one. If you look behind you, you can see the vehicles of a light motorized platoon.
That's nice.
A light motorized platoon has the advantages of being highly mobile. It's a fast unit, and it brings and the Humvees allowed the teams to bring a lot of fighting assets, in order to enhance their survivability. Because with a small unit like this, your ability to survive will most likely come down to your ability to break contact with good suppressive fire. If you break contact too slowly, you will die, and if you break contact without suppressing the enemy, they will just they'll probably just chase after you and kill you guys. Last thing is armored recon or heavy recon. Those kinds of recon are used by cavalry units or tank units, and they usually work from Bradleys or some other IFV or strikers or other ICV. And the way it would operate is they would use their vehicles and the optics and the weapons on the vehicles to conduct their recon. So they would be moving through different battle positions, observing for enemy tanks and enemy vehicles. They would do route reconnaissance. They will check if the road can actually hold the tanks. They'll do bridge reconnaissance, make sure bridges can hold the tanks, etc., etc. So they are. We're not going to cover that because in armor it's not very applicable, and it's a whole different mindset than what we're about to do. We're going to keep this simple. Okay. The motorized recon tune. We're gonna use the standard American setup. If you come with me, guys. As you saw in the slotting screen, we consist of 5 elements. One of those is the headquarters elements. The headquarters element is 6 guys. Those 6 guys are Toon Leader, his scout, and his driver. What's very important to remember of recon is that everyone has secondary functions. So, for instance, the scout is also a gunner. On top of that, he is personal security for the platoon leader whenever he needs to dismount. And in general, he does what the platoon leader needs him to do. His driver is the platoon leader's RTO. He uses the vehicle to kind of. He has a bunch of radios in there, so he can monitor the company net, the fire net, the battalion net, whatever needs to be monitored, and relay orders to the platoon leaders through those nets, and the request from the platoon leader to those nets. Yeah, Force Recon. If you saw Generation Kill, they're organized like a light motorized recon. They usually wouldn't do that. They're actually a light recon element. Okay. Second Humvee is the platoon sergeant, which today would be Upchuck. I'm the platoon leader. He also has a scout and a gunner. and the scout gunner is acting as his personal security and his personal go-to guy. He also has a driver. The driver also acts in RTO, monitoring company net, fire net, air net, whatever needs to be monitored in order to complete the mission. And the driver can, depending on what country you're from, be a medic. All recon operators should know how to conduct most medical stuff, so they would be limited to being able to give epinephrine. Not all countries teach their guys to do that. And in game, they probably wouldn't be able to use medkits. But that's the headquarters section. And pretty much all of the other sections are organized like this. So if we go to Bravo section right here, or Bravo squad, each squad is consisted of two vehicles, one with a Mark 19 as the main gun, one with a M2 as the main gun. This allows versatility in the use of the weapons, and at the same time, you only bring the guys you need to conduct your recon. You only bring 3 guys per vehicle, because that's all you need to get mobile, get into an objective, get eyes on the objective, and then get away unseen. You don't need to fill up the Humvee for doing that. Again, we have the squad leaders and the section leader, or the team leader. Squad leader, of course, leads both Humvees, and the team leader leads his own Humvee under orders from the squad leader. We have the gunners who are also scouts. So that means when I assign you an OP later on in game, I'm gonna tell you move to OP1. Okay, then what you're actually gonna do is drive up near OP1, hide your vehicle, and then that's random. Don't worry about it. Oh, I hate that script. Okay. Anyway, I'm completely losing my shot. Let's get out of this place. There we go. Okay. Anyways, what you can do is actually having when you get near your OP, then you make sure your vehicle won't be seen by the enemies, and you make sure it's hidden, for instance, in the into a tree line or something like that, so you can leave your vehicle, or if necessary, you'll leave your driver to protect the vehicle while the leader and the scout moves out and observes the target area. So sometimes it's a bit shitty to be a driver in these platoons, because he will be left behind with the vehicle. There are a number of different ways to organize a platoon. There is the easy one where you just use Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and headquarters. That's also what's called a 4-section organization. That's very effective. It allows you to move onto objectives fairly safe, and with good control from the leaders. There's also something called 2-section organization, and that would probably be Bravo and Alpha section as a 1-section led by the platoon leader, and then Charlie and Delta section as 1 section led by the 2IC. That's probably not going to happen in game, but it's still nice to know. Last thing, there is a bunch of ways. It all comes down to what you're supposed to do, but there's also 3-section organization, which would be splitting up some of the sections and putting them together with other sections. Last thing would be 8-section organization, which is every single Humvee would work independently and get independent assignments. This is chaos on the platoon net, but you get to observe a large area, and you have a smaller risk of losing all your platoon if one of the Humvees is detected by the enemy. Are there any questions on the platoon's organization for now?
Nope.
Okay. Good. Okay, just gonna make sure I got everything. Yes, very importantly, in real life, any leader in this unit, team leader, squad leader, 2IC, platoon leader, And any RTO, that means all the drivers are expected to know how to call in fire support. And they're expected to know how to talk to a helicopter for either CAS evacuation or unit evacuation, and basically how to conduct the net. This isn't that crucial to this course, but in real life that's really important because everyone needs to know what they're doing, because if you just lose your team leader, then you're lost. So basically everyone can act as a team leader or a squad leader. Okay, that completes phase 1 of this, just orienteering you on how one of these platoons get organized. Second part is camouflage. I know camouflage can't really be implemented that easily in armor, but nonetheless there's actually some points you can consider. One of those is background. What do we need to consider when we about our background?
Make sure it's a sailor.
Yes. So basically, not necessarily exactly the same color, but like you guys now, you know you're wearing pretty much green clothes with some brown mixed in. Then you want to consider getting somewhere where it's green with a light beige things to it.
Yep.
Next thing is vegetation. That's pretty much the same as background. You need to consider the terrain you're moving through. In real life, you need to consider the noise levels of the terrain you're moving through. So if you're moving through shrubbery, then you need to consider that you're gonna make a lot of noise moving through there, or you would have to slow not to. Next point is light. What's crucial? Light.
Don't go in.
Yes, you need to move in the shade. Whenever we get a chance, we walk in a forest, not only because it gives a good background and good vegetation, but it cuts off lightning. And our eyes is fixed so that we look for light first, and then we can look for shadows. So if you're moving inside a shaded area, you'll basically be a shadow to the human eye, and you'll be much harder to see. Last thing is movement. Any considerations for movement?
Don't do it quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Move slowly.
Yeah. Slow
Other things?
And direction of movement, I guess.
Yeah.
Relative to the enemy.
What do you mean by that?
Lateral movements will be seen easier.
Yes, exactly.
I.e., if I'm moving left to right, I'm going to be easier seen than if I'm moving directly straight onto you.
Also, how you're moving, mounted or dismounting, and the terrain you're moving through.
We're just talking personal camouflage right now. But yeah, basically, what you would see is a guy standing in the distance like this, moving sideways, or running like this. He's a lot easier to see to the human eyes than if he's walking slowly forwards. So fast movements and sideways movements are harder to spot.
What movements are hard to spot?
If you move slowly, you're harder to spot, and if you move directly towards or from the enemy, so if you're my enemy and I'm moving like this, I'll actually be harder to spot than if I decide to go around you like this. And your eye would catch immediately in real life.
Okay.
And we actually did some exercises in real life where we did this, and can really see the difference if go into a wooded area and try to notice that. Okay. Next thing is sealed movement. First thing about that is, of course, you need to bear in mind what we just talked about, how to camouflage yourself, and that the same thing goes for the vehicle. Next thing is you need to conduct your terrain analysis. What do you need to think about in that?
High ground.
High ground? What do you mean by that?
I want to be on the high ground, generally speaking.
No, you don't. When you're moving.
Oh, we're still talking about moving, okay.
Don't skyline stuff like that.
Yeah,
Okay,
you want to avoid skylining.
Keep
yeah.
in ditches if you can.
Why do you want to move low?
People don't look low as often. That you don't skyline as easily.
What you actually need to consider is that you physically can't see low places that easily. if we look around this airfield, we can easily see the hilltops, right?
Hmm.
Those are, we could stand here with our optics looking to the northwest, and we could see people on those hilltops, and we had good enough optics. But we couldn't see people moving in the lower valleys next to the hilltops. We wouldn't be able to see those. So that's what you need to consider when you move through the terrain. How to stay as low as possible without compromising your movement speed, of course.
Granted, there's a corollary to that. You don't want to be all in the valley because, one, that's just opens you up to a crossfire, and
Mhm.
that's usually where people are looking. If you're heading through a valley, you want to be halfway up the wall because generally
So you can
that'll
go
create...
either way in a stick.
It can go either way. Generally, you want to be about halfway up a mountain/valley because, one, it'll create a natural shadow depending which way the sun is facing. And also, the eye is generally drawn to the ridge line or the bottom of the valley.
Exactly. Okay. And of course, all, not so much in game as in real life, but especially at night, consider how you're moving. If you're moving fast, you'll make noise, and you'll actually be able to. Enemies will actually be able to hear you. And especially in real life, if you're sitting in a dark wooded area, then you're really attentive to noises. So if you hear a twig snapping, you know immediately what direction people are moving in. Okay. We're gonna move on to start talking about our first exercise. That would be draw reference your map. You should see the town to our west called Apachino with the Russian flag on it. Does anyone not see that?
I see that.
See,
Cute. Okay. So what you would be, so what would be assigned in this case would be different sets of OPs. So for instance, if I make P1 here at grid 039er, 098, then you would also be assigned an area of Overwatch or an area of observation. Anyone tell me what that means?
Direction from OP1 to wherever you need to look.
Exactly. You'd usually actually get some boundaries, so that, for instance, I could tell you, I wouldn't mark that on the map, but I could tell you that one of your boundaries would be hill 360. That would be a right boundary, so you shouldn't concern yourself very much what's on the right side of that, except that if you hear movement or see movement, then that's enemy. Then of course you need to consider that. But your principal direction is not to no further right than that dot. And then your second principal direction could be hill 244 to your southwest. That means that your area of observation would be to your southwest and to your northwest. Does that make sense? If you imagine that like an arc.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So when you get into your OPs and are assigned areas of observation, what's the most important thing about those when you get into your OP?
Don't move.
Like,
There's
even
plenty
more
of
important.
things.
I might be oversimplifying. The very most important thing is that when you get into your OP and you decide this is the best possible spot, I'm concealed and I can see my area of operations, then you need to make sure you can actually see all of it. So for instance, in this area of operations, you would notice that there's a lot of wooded area to your southwest of OP1. You might not be able to see through that.
Yeah.
Then you need to advise your platoon leader or your section leader that we are in position. We can see most of the AO, but we can't see beyond 200 degrees, for instance. Okay, then he knows that. Then he can either decide to move you, for instance, to hill 344, or he can decide to move another element to cover that sector. So he could, for instance, have a OP2 set up here at grid 016, 098, and they could observe that wooded area for you and make sure your flank is clear. Make sense?
Yep.
Yep.
Sweet. Okay. So always, first thing, make sure you can observe your area. If you can't, make sure someone else is. Depending on mission time frame and all that stuff. But this is if you have time to actually fix those problems. Okay. Second thing, how do we report contacts when we do stuff like this?
Salute.
Yes, sir. Or so.
Fucking salute. Yeah. What's the salute order?
Size, something, location, uniform, time, and I forget what he is as well.
Okay.
Size,
You need
activity,
to-
location, unit, time,
Okay,
equipment.
yeah. There you go.
Exactly. And you need to write this down. So I'm just going over it slowly. S stands for size, the size of the enemy unit. So that would be and that needs to be brief. So it's like enemy mechanized platoon 3 times BT or enemy mechanized unit 3 times BTR 3 times infantry squads. Okay. Or you could just say if you're saying it's a mechanized platoon, then you just say 3 times BTR or 3 times squads. Then we know what we have. Next thing, activity. What are they doing? Are they moving in a column to the north? Are they dismounted, setting up security? Are they moving in line formation towards you? Something like that. Again, very briefly, just say a very general activity, like halted in the open or moving along MSR or anything like that. Okay. Next thing, location. There are several ways to report a location. You can either tell the grid of them. In real life, what problem would that cause? Could that cause?
In case you're being listened in on, they'll know what you know.
Yeah. So in real life or in TVT, if you report in a grid, then if someone's listening to you, then they also know, oh shit, someone's looking at this unit. We need to get them out of there, or we need to react on that somehow. You can also use what's called known points. So, for instance, if I decide to name the MSR going through the patch, Clapper, then you can say enemies moving on the MSR Clapper. Then everyone knows what that is. So that's saving your time reporting in locations and saving you of enemies knowing where you are. U stands for unit. So that's again what kind of unit? Mechanized infantry, tank platoon, anything like that. Again, very briefly, it can stand for uniform if there are different nationalities in the area, and you are looking at a Polish unit instead of a Russian one, for instance. Time. That on platoon net, that can be you can do that just by saying 5 minutes ago or right now, or something like that. On a company net or higher, you would use what's called a date time group, and that would be what day in the month it is. Like today is 26. What time it is for me local? It's 21:56. And what time zone you're in? For me, that would be local Bravo. And what year it is or what month it is. It should be September, and what year it is, 2011. But we're not going to use that here. You're simply just going to say when you saw them by the time, the in-game time. Last thing, equipment. That's especially important in this course, actually. What kind of equipment are they carrying? Do they have AT? Do they have AA? Anything like that? Special equipment that you don't usually see in an infantry squad. Or in any other kind of unit. If you see a tank platoon and you see they also have a recovery vehicle with them. That's something to note. Okay, any questions on this report? Okay. So next thing, now we're going to move into a practical phase real soon. We're going to talk about what's called a point recon. Point recon is if you have a specific place that your commander wants to observe against. In this case, it's going to be Lapachino. And in this case, Lapachino will be considered 1 point, a point to recon. The best way to conduct point recon, if time allows it, is from multiple directions. Yeah, Rambo?
I just want to confirm that I have the salute right. You said size, activity, location, unit. What I'm having problems with is size and unit, because you said, for example, 3 times BTR or 3 times BMP, and then the unit you say tank platoon. Now, do you say 3 times BMP, or do you say platoon moving north, I don't know, road MSR Klappa, and then tank platoon? Or do you say 3 times BMP?
If you know what kind of unit they are, then you can, or you can hear that from the report that is just that is an mechanized infantry platoon, for instance, with BMPs. Then you just say 3 times BMP and then skip the unit part.
Okay.
Again, in any kind of video report, if you don't have anything important to a point, then you just skip it altogether. And then you have to hope that the guy on the other end knows that you know what you're doing.
Can I make a note there?
Yeah.
When I went through combat training, unit, we usually save that if we could actually identify, oh, they're with, 5th something or other, or, if they actually had some sort of marking that allowed you to identify the actual unit they were with. Or if you can't do that, what nationality they were.
Alright, cool.
Yes. Okay. I'm just gonna delete all these markers right here. Sorry if you're using them. Axon, you're way too noobish for this course. So, as you said, you're just gonna spectate and not disturb the class.
Moving on.
Yeah, fuck it. Okay, so point recon. Lapachino is our point. We need to recon that. Why could we want to just recon Lapachino?
Because there could be enemies there.
More importantly, there could be specific enemy units there. We need to know something about them. We might think the enemy has a headquarters there. The enemy might be using this as a strong point to stop our friendly units from moving south and taking Lapachino and moving in and securing the rest of this airport. Anything like that. So that's when we do a point recon. If we need to know exactly what kind of enemies we have in there, and we have the time to actually do that right. So that would be, if I was the platoon commander, for instance, I would assign, which I am in this case, I'm gonna assign some OPs for and I'm gonna assign them to different teams, and they're gonna observe from different directions. Then first off, they're gonna, once they've done their observation, they'll send a salute report, just so I get a general idea of what we're dealing with. Then once people stop reporting in, and we got a report from everyone, I'm gonna call a time where you have to start getting back, or I'm just gonna simply say, okay, that's it, fall back. Then you're gonna fall back to a rallying point, and we're gonna get together with a little head bump with the team leaders and me, and we're gonna make sure that where the units are placed. For instance, if you notice their ATGM, where have they placed that ATGM? If they have AA, where have they placed those AA units? Do they have tanks? Are they hauled down? Where are they? Are they hidden? Stuff like that. That's your basic point recon. Let's just check my notes, see if we got everything.
Route.
Route. Yeah.
Indeed.
Then a lot of this stuff in my notes is actually for the platoon commander later on, but let's leave it at that. Yes. So real quick, how this would be done in real life. We would probably not start out this close. This would be what's called our initial rallying point or objective rendezvous point (ORV), where we would be in a tree line like here. setting up 360 security, and just waiting for orders basically, or we know our orders and we're just gonna give a quick briefing and move out to objectives. Then from there, I can either assign each vehicle or each section a route to go to their OPs, or I can just simply give them operational freedom and tell them to go to these points. I need you to go there unseen, and we know there's enemies inside La Passion, or we certainly expect so. So now I'm gonna assign some. I'm gonna make some OPs, and then I'm gonna assign units to them. Well, Yaxo is actually gonna do that because he knows what kind of layout we have to deal with.
Okay, great.
Remember, these points are very general. It's just me thinking, oh, somewhat like that looks good. And then it's up to the teams to actually find a good place to observe from that direction. Okay, that's it for me. But actually we only have 2 teams, so make sure they get something to look at. Okay. So just making sure we got everyone here. We have team 1 consisting of Rambo, Slaughter, and Rich, correct? No, we don't.
Yeah.
I'm a driver.
Did you reslot
Team 1.
as a driver?
Yeah, Herbie is section 1.
I'm driver. Herbie.
Okay.
Rainbow
so
Slaughter and Herbie.
the very first 3-man team, that's Rambo, Slaughter, and Herbie?
Yep.
Okay. And the second one is Rich, Seal, and...
Just us.
And who? Sorry. That's it? Okay. Very well. So, Rambo, your team is gonna be Cobra 2-1.
Yeah.
Rich, your team is gonna be Cobra 2-2. Upchuck, you're Cobra 2-5.
Right.
My call sign is Cobra 2-6, and Yaxo is Cobra 2-6 Romeo.
Okay, I don't have a long range though. I just noticed.
Get one. Somehow.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So, what we're gonna do is Cobra 2-1. We'll move to OP2. Your principal direction would be from the west to the south. Or correction, from the south to the west, just to really do it right. And Cobra 2-2, you'll move to OP5, where your principal direction will be northeast to southeast. Any questions? I'm going to give you operational freedom how to get there. Remember your terrain analysis, and remember what the fuck I'm trying to say. Yeah, remember to stay hidden. There are actually enemies out there trying to kill you. And especially remember that don't report in before you're sure that you have that we have seen what there is to see. Because as soon as you report in, I'm pretty much gonna call you back to save time. Any questions?
No.
Awesome. So go ahead and get yourself organized. I'm just gonna have to take a quick bio break, and I'll be back.
Time to organize. Oh, okay, I'm
Herbie,
organized.
Seal, Miss Slaughter in your fucking car.
It's gonna... I don't know which car should we
I am
fucking get
this
in, Rich.
Actually, I'm not away from here.
Okay, so you're gonna be team with...
You're back.
So you can fucking... I'll drive the
Sorry,
Mark 19.
You guys, I was fucking driving.
Herbie, go with your team. You're running away.
My team's driving.
Bring up, good driving off there.
driving out.
ASR north of Lapatino. Take that west. I'm thinking if we take that, we should cut maybe a couple hundred meters north of that and then cut west. Better safe than sorry, you know. You know. Hey, you're on the right way, bro. Brasky.
All Cobras, this is
Now,
code 26, radio check over.
The problem will be that we will be on some pretty high exposed ground. Oh, do you have a long range radio? Yeah. And there's no vehicle rack in the gunner seat. I'm gonna stop and head up the rest of the way on foot.
All Cobras, code 26, over.
Guys, this is some amazingly sparse vegetation.
Cobra 2-1.
Where are dead areas that we can't observe yet?
OP2, have constant report over.
2-1, copy contact pulling way down. 2-2, confirm over. So copy advised when contact report is ready. Break. 2-1, send contact report over.
Yep. Oh, I didn't. Oh. I was like, oh, you need him?
2-1. 3 trucks, couple infantry. They're sitting in the town.
I'm afraid that they've hidden something really gay
Now.
down in like the forest or something. I did something exactly like this for Task Force 86, where they had me run around, what was it?
2-1, I repeat this is
Kozlovka
3 tons
in about
trucks,
an hour, moving in and out of a
inactive.
rendezvous,
Latino.
doing an observation on the town.
So copy 3 times.
And I observed every fucking thing.
Time now, out.
Everything. I'm gonna move down here to the front a bit and see if we can get better eyes up to the wall.
Be advised, there is spotting scope in your Humvee if you need that, over.
Sure what?
Figure out. I got up here and have a look. Pretty nice.
Yeah, we can even see that little hamlet down to the south. You're writing this down. Are you getting the guys inside the town first? That's you, isn't it? That's you making that noise, isn't it? I'm gonna put on the spot and scope. There we go. Let's look at that warehouse. I would like to look inside that. No snipers like I expected. That's disappointing. Oh, did you see the farther Kamaz? There's an infantry section behind that. You see the green building with the orange stripe around it? They're right behind that from us.
Cover to 6, cover to 1, over. Cover to 2, send over.
It's behind before this Kamaz, like right there at the intersection of the road.
Cobra 2-2, 2-6, send over.
From what I can see, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. Everybody knows what we're doing. Yeah, on the left edge of town, left of that, church, we've got,
Send over.
infantry section on the deck.
Send over. I copy you a bit faster. 2 times transport, 7 times 3, approximate grid 027. Over. Over. So copy, no special equipment, no unit identification, time now, over.
Where? No. Not from what I can tell. I mean, we are going in nighttime, so... You got the guys to the left of the church, right?
Welcome to wait out.
Trying to find everything. I don't want to get BS'd on this.
Cobra 2, this is Cobra 2-6. Be advised, enemy signals intelligence sounds like the enemy knows we're here and are activating patrols in the area. Friendly forces are pushing air assets our way, over. 2-1.
So that means we should get out. Oh, so to keep our fucking eyes. We got a soap flame back in the Humvee if you need that. We probably want that.
2-2, send over. Maintain observation, out.
Fire. Oh shit, someone's trying to fire a fucking rocket over OP1. Another rocket right over OP1. Another rocket right over OP1. Yeah. Thought it sounded like a Cobra. Sounded like a chopper two blade. Makes sense. Me either. Let's rub the magic lamp and see what it shows.
This is 2-6, fall back to ORV, out.
That's showing da-da-da-da, fuck all. Alright, let's go, that'll be right on. Does it say which direction the patrol is coming from, or were this being intentionally vague? Alright, then we should be pretty careful extracting. You wanna go out the same way or different way? Just don't know if it's safe. Nah, you never know. But put my night vision on. Oh man.
dismounted unit.
Yep, maybe it takes a while to change, that's probably it. You never know.
Oh, that's because there's a fucking close to Team 1 now.
Here's Team 2.
Okay, sweet. Okay, guys, debriefing right now. So just form a school circle on me. So Team 1, final debrief. I want the grids or houses where they place their actual guns. Or more specifically, where they place their defenses.
Okay. Sorry, say again.
On the map, point out with markers where they put important things like MG positions or ATGMs or anything like that.
Okay.
There was an MG there, it was behind the it's behind the church.
This fucking AI helicopter is retarded.
That's all we could, at least what we've seen.
Okay, so you've seen the three
There was not a
trucks
truck
back there.
there at the intersection in 027100.
Yeah, first we're going to do Team 1, then we're going to do Team 2. Okay, so that's what you see, saw Team 1.
Yes.
Okay, Team 2, put your markers down.
Don't forget the guys northwest of the church.
Godhands want me to mark in blue what they missed? Or in whatever. Okay.
So Team 2, you're done? Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, you actually go and mark what they missed.
Wait, you didn't see that infantry team at the intersection? Red?
I think that's pretty much it.
When
I'm
is
not sure.
patrols, by the way?
Because you saw them.
Was just static.
Yeah.
And see that 4-man infantry patrol northwest of the church, which I just said that we did see.
Yeah, the infantry patrols were the ones without a truck next to them, but yeah, they were static indeed.
I mean, if it's a patrol, it has to be a moment.
Okay, guys, so for only 2 OPs, you saw a lot, but you missed a very important thing. And I think you know what it is. Can anyone tell me?
Tungstar. Or
goes-
Tungstar. Or whatever.
Exactly.
The
The reason I sent in the helicopter was actually just to show you that if you submitted a report like that in real life, you would fucking start losing air assets because they would use air support to take an objective like this, unless there was enemy AA threats in the area. So that was a point to remember. Really look carefully. Don't look at the obvious because A lot of these things you pointed out were obvious. They were standing in the middle of the road, and obviously not pulling out any kind of security. But the hidden vehicles, like a Tunguska standing between buildings, that's what you're looking for.
So, to fix that, should we move around, or...?
Yeah, and in real life, we would have more. We would, if we're going to do this, we'll probably have more time. So I would have Team 1, you would be on going from OP7, 1, 2, 3, and then come back. And Team 2 would be on OP4, 5, and 6, and then come back. So we would get a more clear picture of the area. But OP5 was supposed to be able to see that the Tunguska coming in. And finally the helicopter gets destroyed. About fucking time. Okay. But did this exercise make sense? You got a sense of what it means to do a point recon, right? Guys, stop chatting. Okay, any questions on what we're supposed to do here? Okay. One thing, when you fall back to an ORV, what do you do at the ORV?
360 security.
Yes. So next time when I'm giving you an order to fall back to an ORV, even though I'm not there, just make sure you set up security, and then we'll find each other afterwards. And then as you get more vehicles, you will set up your security so that each vehicle faces different directions. Okay. Next thing I have on my stuff here, real quick, is what's called an area recon. We don't have exercise for that yet because it was frankly a bit hard to do. But can anyone take a wild guess what area recon is different from point recon?
Point recon is a known enemy presence. The point area recon is unknown.
Yes. An example, if you look to the east of our ORV, you'll see a big wooded area. In the middle there's a mountain called Devil's Castle. Okay, anyone not see that? So what we would have in that case would be, I'm going to set up some LOAs. Limit of advance. So get a box like this, for instance, an ops box, and in here we want to know what kind of enemies might be in there. We don't really know what's in there, but we need to get there in there and check that out. That could be a good platoon-sized objective. It might be a bit big for a platoon, actually. The way you do that is, again, you would move to an ORV, for instance here, and then you would spread out your vehicles, or either you would dismount here and have your scouts move out on foot alone, and the drivers providing security for the vehicles and the headquarters element. Or you would you probably not do dismounted. What you do then is basically do a platoon line without too much focus on staying in line, but more focus on getting into this area and make sure that there's no enemies in here. If there's enemies in here, then you would avoid contact. You just basically just get in there, get eyes on enemies. Then you'd say, then you would mark grid down, maybe send a salute report with the, for instance, one time APC. Okay, then once you spotted that APC, that's enough. You can fall back and send a salute report. You saw one APC providing security sector overwatch or something like that. This team can see one time squad. That's pretty much enough. You can fall back. Another team might see 2 times APC. Whereas the northernmost team would get pretty far before they spotted one infantry squad, for instance. What does this report from the platoon commander to the company commander tell us? That he has encountered 3 APCs and 2 enemy infantry squads in there.
What do you mean?
If, for instance, if you're doing, if you're a leader and you needed to attack that position, and you got a sitrep like this, where we get told that we know for sure that there's an APC, there's an APC there, 2 APCs there, and 1 infantry squad dug in there, and 1 infantry squad there. What could that be used for if you were going to assault that area? Yeah, you can figure out an attack direction. But what's the problem with attacking from southeast? We don't have any intel from there because the team moving in from the west, they stop moving forward when they meet the enemy. They're not supposed to fight through the enemy. So as soon as you spot an enemy, you're gonna fall back. Shut up. Okay. So we get some intel. We can use that for preparatory fires in case we know we need to get in there. Then we know where to drop DPICMs and SAT arm rounds and etc. etc. We know what kind of assets we need to bring ourselves. For instance, this is mechanized infantry, so we might want to bring mechanized infantry or tanks with us into that AO, or any other kind of asset that beats mechanized infantry, basically. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. I would actually want to make a mission for that as well, but we didn't have time for that. So sorry about that. I'm just gonna have to explain in theory, but I think you can figure out how that works. Last thing that we're actually going to do is called a route recon. Can anyone figure out what a route recon could be used for?
Oh, you watch a road, and you watch for shit that goes along that road.
That's a good example. What else?
Reconning a route you're going to use.
Yep. What else? Figuring out if you can actually go on the road. So route reconnaissance can actually be just your section, your platoon, your team traveling up the road and seeing if it actually holds vehicles, or if there's some sort of barriers or restrictions in relation to that route. That can also be a route recon. So that's a very general term for finding out what's on the road and what it can be used for. They did, if you watch Generation Kill, half of the shit they do there is actually just route reconnaissance. They're moving in front of mechanized forces, figuring out if those roads can actually be used for assaulting. Yeah, they do this a lot. Like light motorized infantry won't usually be used for this, because basically if they move along a road and get hit by a concealed MG, they lose the squad. So they would try to avoid this at all costs. But what they would very much be used for is overwatching enemies moving along this road, and that's what we're going to do today. What we're going to do is having Team 1 move to OP7, where they will get eyes on MSR Clapper. We're just going to call that. OP7 is a grid 035-0904. So your principal direction will be
This is marked.
Yeah. Will be from Voiber to the north side of Lapachino, so you should be able to see pretty much 180 degrees from there. Team 2 would move to OP3, set up Overwatch on MSR Clapper, and your general direction would again be north side of Lapachino to basically just as far north along MSR Clapper as you can see. Just advise me when you get there what the northernmost part of the MSR, because you can actually observe from there, is.
Which OP is Team 2 gonna be at?
OP3.
Okay, which grid?
OP3 is at grid 027, 0, correction, 027, 109.
Roger that.
Yeah. Dope.
Doesn't mean it's still clear.
We haven't had eyes on that for a while now, so that could be pretty much be a whole armored battalion lined up in there. We wouldn't know about it. So the purpose of this mission would just be to get an idea of what kind of assets the enemy is moving north to engage our forces, and you'll be doing that from OP7 and OP3, and be giving me some reports on what kind of forces and where they're moving at. I know I'm gonna get the same report twice, but it's still a learning exercise. Any questions? Sweet. Move out.
Yeah, that's more like a role-playing kind of thing. It's so silly. It's more like a Death Storm. Why do you want to be here? They just want you to say, I want to be in Task Force 86. That's all they want to hear you say. It's all good fun. And food, where are we? Directly on the OP3. Well, we better go get on the fucking the edge of the tree line, because this is fucking garbage. This is really the garbage ground. It really is. We have max elevation of maybe like 30 meters from the road, and we have a ton of fucking trees in our way. Yeah, let's do that. If you want to walk it or you want to take a car. Okay. I just want to get us in the clearing a little bit more.
On call times 226, sit rep over. 2-1. Copy 2-1, 2-2, send over.
I see an enemy patrol.
2-2, so copy out.
175 moving left to right, online in the field. 800 meters out, I think. Probably farther. Gonna cross this field. We're gonna stay right here. Oh! Oh, we've got movement. Got a Kamaz moving through the town right now. What fucking good is that? It's even on the road. I wish I could fucking take out my binoculars and do this, but no. Shit, this ain't kosher. Yeah, he's on the road. No, that's a Kamaz. They're moving south on the MSR, now they just crossed into a big open field with a 3-man infantry team, 4-man infantry team. I just stopped. Alright, they're moving again. I don't know what fucking location that is. If I can just find a fucking house. That's in grid... I want to say it's in 029 or 099, but that can't be right. But it has to be right. So a little left of that, about 100 meters. So I'd say they're on a 030-099er, just about. And now they're fucking moving southwest again. I'm just gonna report that. I don't know, man. Your call. What do you want? He wants to hear what you got. Yeah, it's probably Archimaz. I'll be right back.
Solid copy, move to OP and to over. All call signs 226, be advised. Signal intelligence indicate enemy is pushing assets to the north at this time, over.
Yeah. Oh, so we don't give a fuck about the truck. Okay. Don't drive it straight across your field. Don't drive it straight across your field. Do not. Pull back and keep us in the wood line. And then... us. What the fuck? Just keep us in that ground and target us. And you're... a big rock. There's a pocket here. Yeah, I forget what the key combo is. Feel free to ask one of the guys. Do you have a vector? Then ask him how to use it, 'cause I don't know how to activate the fucking shit. What? Are these our assets? That's the commands. No, and I don't really give a shit. Yeah, say time now.
Solid copy, 2 times infantry.
You
Moving
always
northeast,
give the
southwest,
time.
north side of town. Time
In
now.
this case, it would be 1937.
Copy, 2 times infantry moving northeast, southwest, on north side from Patino. Time now, they have 88 capabilities.
Go then.
Yep. All call signs 226. Fall back, time now, acknowledge over.
God end. Can you teach me how to mark on the map? Oh shit. I'm gonna restart one.
Okay. That's why you tell me this shit.
2126, over.
Okay.
2126, over. Nothing at app.
Wait.
Nice.
Nice job, guys. 2-1 still falling back to their vehicle.
Possible.
But you could see the MSR
And the
itself, right?
elevation's pretty bad.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. For some reason, this script didn't work out as supposed to. There's supposed to come a BTR platoon driving along the road that you were supposed to spot. And 2-1 was actually supposed to see that before it started moving, but for some reason it didn't work as we planned.
Yeah, the movement didn't work. It's kind of
Tell them to
broken.
get Clarkson again.
I didn't fix it because I didn't think that we would use it, to be honest.
Those are. We're thinking about making making an assault based on your intel report, but I decided against that because AI is so fucking unpredictable.
Yeah, and the contact reports. Well, we use the AH1 for an assault based on contact report.
But yeah, that would be just a teaching example of how a recon unit could be used. That you're going to come back, get a report, and then having, for instance, taking the platoon sniper out, getting him to provide the ops and support for an assault, and then having that assault move in. But two things, it took too long, and again the AI is uncontrollable.
I'm happy. AH1 died, and that's all I was hoping for.
I love knowing all stuff already.
What?
Well, Task Force 86, this shit's all elementary.
Okay.
It's pretty nice.
We got a nice defense here.
Yeah, I'm the only one posting up security for whatever reason.
Oh,
That
sad
shit.
you. Okay, guys, debrief. Assemble on me. Okay. Sorry about that route recon, guys. It didn't work out as planned. We're actually intending to push a BTR platoon along that road and have you observe that. And it was actually supposed to be so that Team 1 should be able to see them halted and then see them start moving. Oh, that's why.
Yeah, it fired a bunch of missiles in that direction when it came, like straight away.
Okay. But at least you got to get out to some OPs again, and it looked pretty stealthy from where I was sitting. Team 2, when you're relocating, you might want to think about something called in Danish Army at least called deep V, which is basically you don't move directly from one point to another to avoid the enemy seeing you move sideways. So you actually move back away from the enemy, and then to a point like here, for instance, and then you start moving back into the second OP, avoid detection.
Yeah, that's why we moved north into the dead zone, and then we started moving southeast.
Okay. Overall, good job, guys. I think you got some basics. We need to work on this course in general, how we're gonna control this in a better way, and maybe have to trim some fat down to armor stuff and not real life stuff. I hope you enjoyed it and had a bit of fun with it anyhow.